Hey guys, Midwest Picker here. It's been a long time since I did a story video, but I got it all written down. I got my notes ready. This is a crazy one. You might hate me after this one, but I'm going to take a chance. So if you don't know who I am, if this is your first time here, my name is Midwest Picker. I go by Dave. Actually, I'm Dave. I go by Midwest Picker. This is a reselling channel, but every once in a while I'll do a true story. Now these are true stories that happened in the 70s, 80s, sometimes the 90s. I was either there or they happened to me, and this is just for entertainment purposes only. Obviously do not try this at home. If I use any names, the names have been changed, and I'll show some pictures too. So if you haven't seen the other true stories, I have a playlist on my channel. Go to those. Some of them are crazy, wild, bizarre, gross, funny. So check those out if you haven't seen those. So this story takes place in 1982. I was 16 years old. This was my first job working for somebody else other than my dad's small business. So actually punching a time card, and I was really young and really experienced and kind of nervous. I was hired by good old McDonald's as a fry cook. I worked there for about a year and a half before I quit. Here's an actual photo of the restaurant that I worked at. And of course the creepy playland area. Here are some actual photos of it being torn down in 2007 to build a more modern McDonald's, which kind of made me sad because I thought, hey, I worked there in 82. It wasn't that bad. It looked kind of nice back then. I can't believe already in 2007 they have to tear it down. It made me feel kind of old. So this story takes place while I was working the grill in the kitchen on a really hot July day, 1982, I believe. Now back in the day when you worked at McDonald's, you wore these super uncomfortable, itchy, 100% polyester uniforms. And when you're working in the kitchen and it's hot, you get all sweaty, gross, you're covered in grease, and you have to wear these awful brown polyester uniforms with a paper hat. And that was torture enough. Imagine wearing a sexy uniform like this in July and you're all hot. You know, and you know, some girl you have a crush on comes in as a customer and you're trying to hide in the kitchen and you don't want her to see you like that. It's so embarrassing. So before I get to the story real quick, some McDonald's trivia. So one day I'm working, my boss comes up to me and he says, hey Dave, go in the freezer over there and grab a small box. It's got a number on it, 3437. Bring it in the kitchen. Throw it in the fryer for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and when it's done cooking, bring it to my office. Now I was intrigued. The only small boxes we have in the freezer for the fryer is fish patties and chicken patties. So I had no idea what this was. So I did what you said. I went to the freezer, I grabbed that mystery box that had no description on it, just a code number, grabbed a fryer basket, emptied the box into the basket, and they were these oddly shaped weird things that were battered. So I put it in the fryer and I hit the timer and I cooked them like he said. When they were done cooking, I put them in a tray and I brought him to his office. He said, ah, cool, have a seat. So I sit down and he grabs one of these objects and he dips it in some sauce and he eats it. And he goes, here, you have one, try it. So I grabbed one, dipped it in a sauce, and I ate it. And man, was that good. And then he kind of looked around and he said, now don't tell anybody. But this is a new secret product that nobody knows about that's coming out next week. That new secret product was the Chicken McNugget. And I got to eat some before the whole rest of the world. And at the time, I think it was a 6-piece only. I don't know. And then it kind of grew from there. The sauces was like 3, and then that grew from there. But that's how we learned about the Chicken McNugget. All right, back to the story. So it's July, it's hot. I'm working in the kitchen. I'm not too concerned. I've been there a couple months and I know what I'm doing, but it's really super busy because 2 kitchen people called in sick and I was in there by myself. I was pretty confident I could handle the workload. It was getting close to lunch hour, but my boss, he was a nervous wreck. He was running all over the kitchen area. He was going from drive-through to the registers to the kitchen to help me, back to the drive-through, up back to the registers, running to get stock, throwing fries in the fryer. He was going bananas. Also, real quick, in the kitchen area, McDonald's will toast their buns. So they have this toasting machine right next to a big stainless steel table. In the machine, there's a tray, and it has 12 buns, 12 tops and 12 bottoms. You toast them. When they're done, you put them on the table. Now, if these buns are for burgers, it's easy. You put them on the table. It has these little guns that squirt ketchup and mustard. So you squirt, squirt, squirt your mustard, and then your ketchup, and then you throw pickles on it, and then you're done. So after you dress the buns, you hand the tray to the cook, which is me, because I'm the only one there, and that tray will clip onto the edge of the grill, and then the cook will take the meat patties and place one at a time on the buns, and then the cook will take that tray and they'll lift it up and they'll put it on top of the warming area, and then the staff on the other side will take the tray down, get that paper, and they'll wrap each burger in paper and put it in the food warmer. Pretty nice process. So on this day, I was the only one in the kitchen. So I had to do all the cooking of the meat, and while the meat was cooking, I would toast the buns, dress the buns, put the meat on the buns, put them up on the top of the warmer. That's not too bad until the lunch rush hits. So now the lunch rush is here, and it is getting busy. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Customers are pouring in the restaurant. My managers run around like crazy. Unbeknownst to me, outside in the parking lot is a giant crane. Now this giant crane is hoisting and lifting this huge, heavy AC unit, and it's going to lower it and set it on the roof of the restaurant. Now as the crane was lowering that big AC unit on the roof, I had just put 3 trays of freshly toasted buns on the table. We'll call it the dressing table, and I'm flying with my mustard, flying with my ketchup. I've got it down. I'm throwing pickles on. Just as I got done dressing the last few buns, it happened. I heard this loud boom. That crane, very roughly and quickly, didn't set that AC unit on the roof. It dropped it on the roof. I mean, I felt it and I heard it just boom. I was like, what was that? And directly above me, and in that ceiling, above that dressing table, was a big ceiling vent. And apparently over the years, lots of flies and bugs and insects went up into that ceiling vent and they died. And when I heard that loud boom, hundreds of little black dead flies came raining down from the ceiling, and they all landed in my freshly dressed 36 buns. Now if this was 3 or 4 buns, no biggie, you just toss them in the trash. This was 36, and this was during the lunch rush, and I was by myself. This was a disaster. I turned to my left, or behind me, and I looked over the grill and over the warmer, and I could see the lobby. It was packed. An ocean of people who were just pouring into the dining room. I don't know if it was coupon day. I don't know what was going on, but we were super busy and understaffed. So I quickly grabbed one of those really big 50-gallon restaurant garbage cans. I slid it over to the table, and I was just about to throw all those buns away. My plan was to start over fresh and just toast 36 new buns. Just then my McNugget boss was running past the kitchen, and he saw me and he stopped and he ran in the kitchen, literally grabbed my arm and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I quickly explained to him what happened, that something landed on the roof, and I pointed to the ceiling vent and I pointed to the buns, and I explained to him exactly what happened, and I showed it to him. He literally pushed me out of the way. I'm just a 16-year-old kid. He grabs the mustard gun, and every single bun, he re-mustard it and just quickly, as fast as he could, covered up every dead bug, every fly he could find on all 36 buns. I just stood there in disbelief. My jaw was hanging open. I thought I was in a dream. I was like, what? He then angrily grabbed a tray, clipped it to the grill, and said, "Put meat on it and send it up. I'll go wrap them." He was mad. We were busy. This is my first job. I had no idea what to do. So I did what he said. I went over to the grill, got a meat patty, and put a meat patty on each bun and set the tray up. He quickly grabbed the tray, pulled them down, and I could hear him wrapping them in paper and looking over his shoulder at the crowd behind him, and was throwing them in the warmer. He did not want to disappoint that hungry, angry mob waiting for their fresh, juicy hamburgers. Now I know what you're going to say. Dave, this was 1983. It's now 2022. Do you still eat at McDonald's? Yep, on occasion, I still do. Well, that's the video, guys. I hope you're not too grossed out. I hope you're not watching this right before you eat. True story, I was there, insane. I don't think McDonald's is the only restaurant that's ever had that happen. You know, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, there's a thing called floor spice. I'll let you Google that or figure that out. It happens. We eat other people's eyelashes and dust and dirt, whatever. It's not going to kill you, but it happens. If somebody else prepares your food and you eat out at a restaurant, things are going to happen. Hopefully with that new building, when they tore down the old one and built a new one in 2007, they have an updated ventilation system above the dressing table in the kitchen. I can only hope. Or maybe they put a big net up there. I don't know. But that's the video, guys. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that share button. If you know anybody that likes bizarre, crazy stories, McDonald's stories, my first job stories, shoot it off to them. I'm sure they'll get some entertainment out of it. And if you haven't seen the other stories, go to the playlist and check those out. Those are really cool, especially that murder mobile. I sat in the back seat of a car where somebody was murdered. You're going to want to watch that. But that's it. Until next time, see ya.